thank you for excellent movies. And I'm a freelance game programmer. And in this movie, you were inspired from Super Mario and Metroid and Rockman. I am so proud of it, and as a Japanese. And my question is, could you tell me what you think about the recently Japanese game?
Is it what is about Japanese games that inspired us?
Recent.
Most recent Japanese
I'm sorry.
games.
They suck. I'm sorry. Like, you guys need to get with the times and make better interfaces and like update your technology. We're totally kicking your ass. Back then, you guys were the king of the world, but your time has passed.
And like update your technology. We're totally kicking your ass.
Thanks, guys. That was amazing. Thanks so much. I'd say I was speechless, but I have one more thing to announce. Coming this year, Peggle 2!
What was the kind of the first time you played like an indie game? Like, what was the earliest memory?
Like old Flash games on
Newgrounds,
Newgrounds and Addicted Games, and you know, just
Bowman.
Just,
Hey, that was a great
I remember
game.
Kitty Cannon. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was launched.
Territory War.
Any of those tank games on
Yep.
the Flash.
Okay, yeah, and
Mini
then,
Putt,
like,
1, 2, Yep. and 3.
there were some that were
Mini
like
Clips, that website. Yeah.
What's the that one game where you're on the motorcycle just trying to get to the end of the level and there's like tons of obstacles?
Trials. Trials
Yeah.
is like
So there were like
AAA versions of that.
Flash versions of that
Yeah.
that I played a ton in school when I should have been doing homework.
Computer lab, man.
Yeah.
Computer
I
lab.
should have been doing work. When I was a young kid, we had shareware and stuff like that. So big games back then, the licensing model was really, lax. People could just companies would be like, yeah, you can download the first chapter or episode of Doom or something like that, and it's the first 10 levels or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like encouraging you, like, hey, if you like that, buy the rest of this game, and we'll mail it to you on floppy. You had to order over the phone.
It was kind of like a demo.
Kind of,
Yeah.
And
Semi like a demo.
But they're like encouraging you, like, yeah, give it to your friends, see if they like it.
Yeah.
That's all you had to, and that was how the market kind of got its footing in at least the PC gaming industry, because at that point in time, consoles dominated everything.
Yeah.
It's all about how you can market things, and I think that was the best tactic for them to get their stuff out there.
Yeah, they had to take a loss at first to get their foot in the door. So.
What's interesting to me is for years, the PC was the space for indie developers, and then something flipped in 2006 and 7. I know for me, I bought an Xbox 360. I was excited about Gears of War and Halo 3, but I got this little game. It blew my mind that I could buy this on my Xbox. It was Bank Shop Billiards 2, and I'm playing this indie game, and it's cutting into my Halo time. It was. I was like, this is the crap I play at school when I'm bored. But then I was playing it on this box that cost $300.
Sure.
And that was kind of where I started with indie games.
Yeah, I think I started with Crown Physics. That to me, that just comes into my mind of the first indie game I ever played. Did you guys ever play Crown Physics? It was you would have these drawn tires and all this stuff, and you would have to get through the levels. It was all physics. It was all physics based.
Okay.
And then the Xbox Live Arcade kind of really 08 and stuff, Braid, all those kind of games and stuff like that.
I remember sitting down. My mom used to have a really old computer, big giant monitor, and I remember logging in one day and she had a game called Postal that I played.
Oh man.
Yeah, dude, I know. I was young. She loved video games, so that was the crazy thing. But she played Postal, and I logged in. I played that game.
That's how I discovered it. My mom showed me Postal.
Everybody
too.
knew that. But
Yeah,
I
that
think
was a
my
mom
first
recommended game.
Yeah, right after church on Sunday.
before it even got huge, was playing Minecraft, very first versions of it.
Yeah, Minecraft was a big one too.
But I remember logging on the PC. We just got a laptop. I'm logging in. I'm like, this game is amazing.
Yeah.
next you know, it's now it's one of the biggest games in the world.
Yeah, now it's everywhere.
But even that game started out as an indie title.
You know, you had terrible games on there too. Like
they let some goofy stuff on there too.
Like there was like a Toyota Yaris game.
Oh my gosh!
Advertising.
I think it was one of the first ever like live
That
games.
sucks. Why did I get that?
It's the lowest rating game I think on
Achievements. You got it.
Metacritic in the world.
I'm still not convinced Sneak King wasn't made by some guy in his garage and he's licensed it out to Burger
They
King.
went from kitty cannon or whatever you said to
We've definitely gotten to the point now where I think almost everybody has the tools available to create
Absolutely.
anything they want to create.
You know, when you have like game engines like Unity and Unreal,
RPG Maker.
even stuff that's simple, like anybody can make anything now.
Yeah.
So what room does that leave for the indie game? Like what separates you? I guess is it funding? Is it marketing?
Yeah, a lot of them are starting to use like Kickstarters and
Yeah.
stuff, but
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is the difference because, you know, indie being independent, you think, well, they don't have major money backing it. No big producer, no big marketer.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, the line is kind of blurred and meshed and it's not super defined anymore.
You need a good mix of a good idea, good execution, and good word of mouth. You see that with a game like Stardew Valley, though, because that guy made that game for like 5 years. It was a one-person endeavor, and it's a lot like Animal Crossing or some of these other games, Harvest Moon, that have come out. But he found his own unique spin on it.
Yeah.
I think he made that thing it would literally just cost him blood, sweat, and tears. It didn't really cost him tons and tons of money to pay a team.
I want to pivot a little bit back in 08 when this kind of Xbox Live Arcade, all these games started coming. I think it was the perfect storm because, perfect timing maybe, because all of these kind of casual games, the Wii, all these like, here's 8 tutorials right when you start the game. And indie games I think came at the perfect time. All those games we used to love of like, let's figure it out, and a little bit more difficult. Those passion projects still existed in that time. I think that's why they kind of flourished at that time was 08 and all that time with casual gaming. And
I think the reason that we saw the big explosion in terms of console usage in that area is that because, you know, people still had this conception that PCs were not kind of for gaming or that they were maybe more difficult to configure or like the hardware options. And so console is just easy, pop in a dish, you play a game. And so in a way, like they already had a massive install base. Like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, they already had millions of users. And it's just like you make the game for that, and it's a one-size-fits-all kind of configuration. Done.
I think the other key piece is internet connectivity. Original Xbox didn't have a space to have indie games hosted on it, whereas on PC you could find these things.
To download stuff.
So the PSN and the Xbox Gold store.
I love where they've gone too, because they've come from like these goofy kitty cannon and all this like flash games. So like now we have like AAA indie game now. Like we have like backed, published indie games.
Yeah, it blurs. Cool. It starts to blur the line a little bit.
Like is it still indie? I don't know.
Are you working 100-hour work weeks on your video game? Call the police! Call the police! And then call me. My name is Jay Sweater, and I'm the video game lawyer, protecting your rights from the evil grasp of upper management and saving your time and saving your life. Video game companies are having people work so long. But all is not lost. Here are a list of companies that work 10 hours or less a week on their video games. The first company for me that gets an A+ rating is Behavior Interactive, developers of the game Dead by Daylight. Those guys work so little. Good job, guys. You won't find crunch anywhere near this next company, 343 Industries, developers of the Halo Master Chief Collection. This game came out in 2014 and they're still not done with it. And a big shout out to Square Enix for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. The first part comes out in 2020 and no one knows when that thing's gonna be finished. Yay! I was recently asked to go down to the Square Enix offices and see how they're making the game. Keep going, you got it, guys. Work at your own pace. Great job, guys. You are a model for the industry. Woohoo! Yay! Yippee! Rockstar Games, I'm the video game Moses, and you better let my people go. Naughty Dog, if you keep making your employees work overtime, it's not gonna be The Last of Us. It's gonna be The Last of You! Wait a second, how long has everybody been working on this game? Put the keyboard and mouse down and come out with your hands up. It's time to clock out. How long has everybody been working on this dang piece of paper? It's time to wrap it up. Tick tock, tick tock. If you're a game developer that works 1 hour over a 40-hour work week, give me a call. I'm your gaming knight in shining armor, Jay Sweater.
Arnold, time for bed.
Just 5 more minutes.
Hey bud, it's time for bed now. Hey, I'm sorry about the science fair. You'll win it next year.
Yeah, I guess.
You guess?
I don't even care about it anymore.
Arnold, do you know what Edison said when people asked him how he made the light bulb?
What?
He said he learned 10,000 ways how to not make a light bulb. You've got so much potential. I believe in you, son. You can and will do great things.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Don't you ever give up. Or you know what? No more of this Mario.
It's Sonic, Dad, not Mario.
Are you sure that wasn't Mario?
Does that look like Mario? Okay. I'll believe myself, but I don't want to go to 10,000 science fairs.
And that's alright, because I didn't want to drive you there 10,000 times anyway. Luckily, I won't have to, because you're going to win it next year. Alright, bucko. It's really time for bed now.
Alright, I'm coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Ballmer!
Welcome to DWEEBS. We started this experiment back in
March of 2019.
And we have been completely blown away by how the world has embraced this amazing experiment. And that's exactly what it was, an experiment.
There's so many freaking indie games. Which ones should I play? What's the ones that people shouldn't miss out on?
Gosh, there's so many great ones though. It's hard to.
Fez.
Fez is my number one indie game.
Fez is my number one as well.
Fez takes you back to when you were a kid. That's all I can explain it to people. When I was playing that, it felt like I had just got the Super Nintendo, 1995. I'm sitting there again, just enjoying side-scrolling, like this mystery and like what does that part do, and just kind of it takes all that great stuff from those old games and kind of makes it into a new.
I guess if you're saying that, you'd also have to look at Undertale then. The same way.
Undertale's on my list too.
Like that game was a beautiful reimagining of the same style, I guess, in Earthbound, but the story itself and the gameplay, I love it. Because
Earthbound's one of your favorites.
Yes.
And that kind of really takes that
theme,
feeling,
that idea, and crams it into a whole new story, a whole new genre.
It's kind of interesting because it kind of gets where I never played Earthbound, but I played Undertale, and I almost look at clips of Earthbound, and I'm like, I played Undertale. And another one that's kind of like that is I love Super Meat Boy. I love that game to death, and I've never finished a 2D Mario game. But in playing Super Meat Boy, the 10s and 20s of hours that I played it, I look at old Super Mario and I'm like, I got it. Like, it's great. I'll play it if it's ever in front of me. But it's weird how some of those games influenced by the old games. If that's the first one you play.
You basically played Mario without the skin on.
Yeah, I basically, it's the same thing.
In the same vein, I think Shovel Knight is top notch. Probably my favorite indie game.
That one I played recently, that one does what I just said with Fez. It takes those old things that we loved about those old games and removes the bad part and kind of just gives you the modern kind of
This one,
stuff of
it's
game design,
it's the classic game that you remember not as it really was, but it's the version that you remember from your rose-colored glasses.
Yes,
and your
it's the
sense of
rose-colored
nostalgia.
glasses.
You're
That's
looking
perfect.
through that window. The second one to switch it up though from like more of the 8 or 16-bit is Somo.
Okay.
And this is a first-person. I guess you could call it a walking
Psycho
simulator.
horror? I was gonna say psycho horror, but okay.
Yeah, walking simulator in that you don't do any combat. You're in this underwater, like, abandoned research facility, and I don't want to give away too much, but what an atmosphere that created. What a really cool story just to shake things up. I really love the...
How scary was it?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say at least an 8.
Man,
8.
You wouldn't play it.
You got cold blood.
I better get under the covers.
I love it.
For that one.
And I think that's a great point because not all indie games have to be 18,
It's
8,
8-bit,
16-bit. One that I love that doesn't fall in that category at all is Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. I love that game so much, and I'm real close with my brother, and that took me on like an emotional journey of like kind of these two brothers, and they're making this journey trying to save their parent, and that game. One of the things that I love about indie games is they mess with mechanics for narrative purpose.
Yes.
And that game has a moment in it where you use these mechanics of controlling them both with one stick.
Because you're using each analog stick is a different brother.
Each analog stick is controlling a different brother, and you get so used to the flow of that then when they throw a wrench in that, and for story purposes, but also the mechanics have a wrench thrown in, you're like, oh my gosh, like I feel it because I can't do what I'm used to doing.
I think you cannot forget about Papers, Please. Because when
yeah.
you think of that game, what a narrative it tells on, man. He just goes into the grind every day and he gets faced with like these moral decisions.
Yeah.
Do I let him in? Do I let him go?
Yeah.
Somebody literally made a game about being a border patrol agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it works.
And that's the beauty of indie games is you can make a game about anything, and if you execute it right, it could work.
Marble Blast Ultra
Man, you
is
love that
up
game.
there for me because it is just jumping. It's kind of like Super Meat Boy. You fail, but you jump right in. You don't have enough time to get frustrated and kind of wait for loading. It's just you're trying to beat your friend's time. That was another thing is Xbox Live Arcade had those leaderboards.
Yeah.
So with Marble Blast Ultra, I was looking at the times like, I can't let Jake beat me. There's no way.
There's no
way.
way.
And then you would just spend like 20 minutes just trying to get the best time on that.
There's one other that I remember that I enjoyed quite a bit. It was called Slain Back from Hell.
Yeah. Is that newer?
It's a newer one. Kind of like a heavy metal infused Dark Souls side scroller, so to speak.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
That's a lot of fun. Very difficult, just in the same kind of vein as
Yeah.
all those Souls games, but really cool motif. I really liked it.
Hyper Light Drifter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hyper Light Drifter.
yeah.
That takes, that Dark Souls kind of like, it's very hard, it's very difficult, but each, like, kind of, you go into, like, it's top down, and you're attacking enemies and stuff. It's kind of like Zelda in that way. But when you get to the next level and stuff, that's where if you die, you just go back to the beginning of that room. So it kind of takes, I love Dark Souls, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I love the difficulty with the more forgiveness of like, here's a checkpoint.
One final newer one is called Chasm.
Yeah.
And this is a Metroidvania game that's just came out, I guess, within the last month or so.
Yeah.
Really awesome art style. Gameplay is pretty much what you expect from Metroidvania.
Yeah.
But I for some reason, that one I just really gravitated towards that, and I liked it a lot. And I followed the development of that, from its very early inception, and it had a Kickstarter up and stuff like that. And so that's a pretty cool one too.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my final indie game. I think it was called Tanks. It's those Tanks games and on the Flash, those Flash games we were talking about. That's all I did in 8th grade, I think. I don't think I learned anything, like history. All I knew was tanks and trying to because that was 2-player. You could have one person on the keyboard on one side, and you'd just be trying to kill each other, shooting.
That just reminds
tanks
me
and stuff of
Territory War. You guys, anyone else play that? No one?
Is it similar?
It's a similar concept, but except it involves infantrymen.
Yeah.
And you get a gun, a grenade, and your job is just to kill the other people.
Yeah.
So that same concept from Tanks, it's ironically enough.
Yeah.
But
I think my favorite thing just about indie games in general is, especially when we were talking about earlier about kind of the casual kind of and here's 18 tutorials to do anything.
Yeah.
It's that kind of just takes up the fun of discovery and You
jump
should
in.
die. You should die a couple times before you learn something. You should go through that hard stuff. I just love
appreciate
the passion that these kind of indie developers bring in, and they are kind of like these older developers. They're kind of like, hey, we knew what these kind of SNES, NES, like we want to bring that magic back, and it's like it's fun to see like a new one comes out. It's like, ooh, they got that right, or they were able to like kind of take that old concept and bring it to the new generation.
I'm able to appreciate the freedom of creative direction that they're able to take.
Sure, they're not
Whereas,
held bound by
a
publishers.
lot of
and
publishers
stuff
would be
like
like, nah, you need
Yeah,
to cut that.
yeah.
Maybe. So
I also love that they're confident saying this game is a 5-hour game. And that's what it is. It doesn't need to be 20 hours or 30 hours.
You'll get the same experience.
Yeah, you look at a game like Journey.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours, and it's made to be 2 hours long, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So.
This thing is so broken. What is going on? What is triggering this?
And you know what I'm gonna say? We're talking about the beta of Champ here, and it's hot, alright? It's hot trash. Terrible. PU, toss it out. People say this game should be an alpha. I say this game shouldn't even came out. Don't touch the shelf. Don't get this game. PU, toss it out. Alpha my butt.
He said he learned 10,000 ways how to not make it. You've got so much potential. I believe in you, son. You can and will do great things.
Please join me in welcoming the top man at Nintendo Worldwide, President Satoru Iwata.
Thank you very much, Jamil. On my business card, I am a corporate president. In my mind, I am a game developer. But in my heart, I am a gamer. The moment when testers began picking up the controllers and actually playing the game. This is what happened. People smiled, then laughed, then began shouting to each other. That was the moment when everything for Smash Bros. Changed. And I must tell you, this was also one of the proudest moments in my development career. Yes, the Smash Bros. Series has become a great worldwide success because it sold over 10 million copies worldwide. The memory of that first moment when the testers began to play stays with me always. That is that moment that I call success. We at HAL found a way to bring our idea to life. Our team believed deeply in the concept, and we did not waver in our approach. So, in this important sense, we at HAL, we are just like every one of you. Even if we come from different sides of the world, speak different languages, even if we eat too many chips or rice balls, even if we have different tastes in games, every one of us here today is identical in the most important way. Each one of us has the heart of the gamer. Thank you very much for your attention.